Hello and welcome viewers to Wheel to Wheel round 5 in season 12. This week sees us in beautiful Brazil. The guys will be racing at Interlagos. It'll be a fantastic round. This round marks the retro liveries, so most of the cars, or nearly all of the cars, will be out in old F1 liveries, so it's a bit of a spectacle for our viewers this week. Now, in the box joining me this afternoon, I've got CCH. Corbin, welcome.
Hey, how we doing? Ready for some hot racing?
Definitely, it's going to be a great round, 60 laps, one of our enduros, and helping us with the stream this afternoon, bringing us all the visuals, is Dodgy86. G'day, Dodge.
Yeah, g'day, Mid. Thanks, mate. What an awesome night this is going to be. I don't know about you two, but I am absolutely knackered. We just finished our 60 laps. And it was really on for young and old. There were some brave moves in that, and there were also some stuff-ups as well. So I'm expecting big things from these guys in the top split tonight.
Yes, definitely. It's going to be a very long round. It'll last at least an hour and 25, possibly 30, depending on how the guys go. As we mentioned, we're in Interlagos. The track is 4.3 kilometres long, so it's about a 1 minute 30 per lap. And also, just before we kick off, we'd like to thank our sponsors who make this stream possible: Jade Finance Australia, AMS Excavations, 180 Embroidery, Hybrid Ag, and Permobil. Thanks, guys, for sponsoring the stream and Wheel to Wheel League. All right, so if we're ready to go, should we kick them off? All right, and away they go. Who have we got our eye on tonight, guys? Who do we think is going to be a standout besides the usuals? Fixer Chris, Goat.
Won't be Dale, as Dale is going out of the pits on hard compounder tyres.
That he
That's
is.
an interesting choice. Division 1 is such an enigma because I think everybody has a good shot at doing really well. It's a real driver's track, and I think if someone comes to show up, I think they're pole.
Yep, definitely. And at the moment, leading him out is Apex Humper, followed by Tombo and DJ Stefko. We will have a chance mid-race to go through all these beautiful liveries. So we'll just focus on the guys putting in their lap times for the next 9 minutes or so. And after DJ Stefko, we've got Fixer Chris, who's just now past DJ Stefko, who's pulled over to the side. As everyone starts to make their way past him, also Captain just pulled up beside DJ Stefko as well.
Yes, it's throwing a bit of a wrench in the works, but drivers we missed, Dale Teeks, Gouda 82 in the Mercedes, Adam in the not Ferrari, the Porsche, Sekis in the Jag, low side in the Toyota, Zedro in the Jag, Stefko as we mentioned, Super Dragon in the Mazda, and is that it? And PLE Goat in the Corvette.
That's right, that's the whole field, and now we're just on board with Apex Humper, who's just coming through he's midway through his first lap, so we'll see how he goes. As he comes through, we might pick a car and we might get Corbin to run us through a lap. We'll wait for the first round of timings to come through, and then Corbin, we might pick up on one of the guys and you can run us through a lap.
Who do you reckon we should look at for the next lap?
I reckon we should go with Fixer Chris.
Alright, so we'll wait for him to complete this lap. I'm not going to promise I have good pronunciations because I have opened up a track map with the corner names. It's going to be something.
Well, I was just looking at those as well and thought, okay, I might just stick to the corner names because some of those are a little bit hard to pronounce.
They are all in Portuguese, yes.
Yep. Centre S is about the only one I can get done, which is the first two corners, and then they come around to the third corner, which is Curve de Sol, down the back straight, which is Reta Oposta, and from there I'm not even going to try.
Now it's all over to you, Gordon.
Alright, as Fixer Chris crosses the line with a 129.7, he brakes just at the 50 metre mark, going into Curve 1. Turning into the centre S's, into Curva dos Sol, along the back straight, Reta Oposta. He'll be looking just after the 100 metre board, and Descida do Logo, as he really brings it into the wall. He's coming up to Ferreira Dura, getting in nice and tight, getting it into Laranjinha, and Essay, into Pinheirinho, looking to brake at the start of the curb into Bico di Pato, along this tough downhill left-hander of Mergulho, into the left-hander, brake at about just before the 50 into John Cower, coming up these slight left-hand kinks onto the front straight of Subida dos boxes, and hooks it onto the inside line, having the shortest possible route to the line, and he just misses out on beating his time.
Yep, Apex Humper has just gone through and beaten him by 1/10. So Apex sitting at the top of the table at the moment, or top of the grid. Fixer Chris in second, as I said, 1/10 behind, and 200ths behind Fixer Chris is PLE Goat. 600ths behind is Sekis in fourth. In fifth is Adam, who's 1/10 behind, and we've got Captain Lowside, who's 300ths behind Adam. Scooter 82 is 1/10 behind Captain. DJ Stefko is just under 1/10 behind Scooter 82. Kazadro 2.5 back behind DJ Stefko in ninth. Tombo 700ths back in 10th from Kazadro. Then we've got Super Dragon, who's 100th behind Tombo in 11th, and Dale bringing up the field, who's a good 2.5 seconds off Super Dragon, so he hasn't had the opportunity to put in a flyer at the moment, but we should expect to see him move up a little.
Maybe not, as he is still on hards. So he might be. He did put a message in the chat, in the lobby chat just before the race, saying he was slow and he hadn't put much practice into it. So I might imagine that this might be him just trying to get laps down on the hards to get used to them for the race.
Okay. Well, there you go. At least he won't be getting in anyone's way. He's sitting at the back of the field there, just as you said, practicing laps on the hards. And while that's going on, we've got a couple of the racers now coming in to change their tyres with a little bit of a lighter fuel tank. And they'll have probably one, possibly two flyers left. So we'll see whether or not anyone can actually improve on the 129.5 set by Apex Humper at the moment.
I've just been called out in the YouTube comments from our boy ZD. Welcome back to the league. So Apex for the win. I don't think it's that simple. If I was a betting man, I would put my money on Fixer Chris. I think from what I saw of him in practice races and his general overall pace is next level.
Yep, I have to agree with that. He was doing some ridiculous things on hard tyres in that car, and I expect that he's going to surprise the field here. And they'll only know that as the pit stop starts to happen, and potentially see Fixer Chris still sitting out, I'm assuming in front, unless there are any incidents that impede his race. But yeah, mate, I totally agree. I think that Chris has been, in practice, he's been showing some ridiculous lap times on the hard tyres, which is going to be favourable to him, given the fact that this week all 4 tyre compounds are mandatory, soft, medium and hard. The strategies will come down to how fast you think you are on which particular compound and how many pit stops you want to come in for. I think we were seeing 4, potentially 5. The drivers switch between those 2 pit stops. Obviously the 4 means that high chance that you'll probably be going for 2 stints on the heavy, on the hard tyre.
Just a bit of a shock to me there. Old Tombo has come in second
I
so
was
far
just
in P2 in the Corvette. What the heck?
Mention that. Corvette's a good car. I think. Look, I don't want to blow my own horn. I think the livery might have shaved a few tenths off for him.
Well, guys, the lap times at the moment are ridiculous. There's half a second between first and 9th, so that's how close this field is at the moment. This is going to be a 10th now, is it? Yep. Oh, geez, yeah. Super Dragon 3 thousandths off.
First to 11th is separated by 6 tenths.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, showing how competitive these guys are in the different manufacturers. Of course, this week we're in the manufacturers round, meaning that we're out of the one-make Porsche, so everyone's driving their selected manufacturer. But yeah, looking at the times at the moment, 6 tenths down to 11th, which is that's just ridiculous. I can't really fathom that at the moment, but I'd imagine that hopefully we won't see as much chaos as we did last week in Monza.
Yeah, I think in a long race you really want to just keep the head down and not make any dumb mistakes or dumb moves, or don't want to take anyone else out. You don't want to take, you don't want to take anyone out. You don't want to take yourself out. You don't win a race on the first lap, or the second lap, or the third lap.
That's right. And guys, with all the different manufacturers, obviously, as we've said, there'll be a number of pit stops. Which car do you think has got the advantage on fuel in the group?
Fuel, I think, is the Mazda.
Okay, it is traditionally pretty good on the fuel usage. So once again, I think that's what Chris is actually in. So even more advantage to him.
Yeah, it's as it looks like some people have ended and they're jumping onto the selected tyres to start the race. It looks like a few people might be starting on the soft compounder tyre, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is actually. I know that they may be up front, they want to get a bit of a lead, but of course hitting the soft on a fuel tank, on a full fuel tank, is not as advantageous as taking it at the back of the race with potentially half a tank. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, the race is about to start. Dodgy, who are we going to go with?
Who are we looking at? We've got Fixer Chris back in 6th, have we? Or is that because it's a bit jacked up?
He hasn't crossed the line.
There you
Chris
go.
has got pole.
We'll wait and see. Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll wait and see what happens.
I'll either flick through and we'll try and pick someone who might be moving forward.
Let's go with seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, yep. All right. Waiting for the lights now.
1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 laps, 5 lights. And away we go as
someone
Scooter
stalled
is
on the
not
grid.
moving. No inputs. Oh, Scooter's moving now. He was drifting backwards off the start, so there might be an issue with his car.
Yeah.
As that gives Dale damage on the front and Dragon damage on the front and rear.
Yeah, I'd hazard a guess and say that there might have been some kind of net lag there. The lights did take a fair bit of time to kick off. That may have been an issue. He may not have seen the 5 lights and was waiting to take off the line. So we'll put that down to netcode. But they made a good start, and as we follow them up the start, we've got Tombo closely on the heels of Fixer Chris, and Fixer Chris is on hards, Tombo's on mediums, and of course Apex Humper is out the front on softs, and now his lead is out to 1 second. We would expect that to grow as the laps go on. I'd estimate that if he comes in on lap 7, 8 or 9, that lead should be out to about 10 or so seconds, if not more.
Yeah, I think Apex's strategy is paying dividends now. Is starting on the softer compounder tyre, you do need to get out in front and just build as much of a lead as you can. I think the difference between the softs and hards, you really want to be making probably 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds a lap. And if you're doing that, you're really... Is Adams in the pits already?
And so is DJ Steph. Oh no, Dale Teeks is in there as well. So both the guys have decided 1 lap on hards is all they're up for, which is quite surprising actually. It's
Okay, so that explains Division 2 with Darth Berserk, because I didn't see what happened to him, so he must have done 1 lap on hards and then pit in. They've been mysterious this week, the Porsche drivers. I haven't seen many in practice lobbies, so I think they've got their cards pretty held close to their chest.
Yes, and while we were distracted with those pit stops, Tombo has made his way past Fixer Chris. Tombo and DJ Stefko are the only other 2 drivers on medium tyres. The rest of the field is on hards. So this will be interesting. They will start to split as... obviously, Apex Humper will probably be the first car in off the softs, and then we'll see Tombo and DJ Stefko come in, and the rest of the field will probably stay out for an extra 5, possibly 6 laps before they pit. So it'll be interesting to see where those other 3 guys that aren't on hards come out after the full field of pit stops.
Yes, it's something that I think we should expect a soft runner to be pitting in lap 7, 8. The medium runners to be pitching in lap 8 to 12, and then the hard runners to be pitting in probably lap 15 to 20.
Yep, I think that's a pretty good estimation there. I think depending on how they battle or where there is any battling, obviously those tyres are going to wear a little less or a little more. So yeah. Highly unlikely that we'll see everybody come in on the same lap, but after saying that, it's not an impossibility. They may not want to lose any kind of advantage or get any disadvantage, so pitting at the same time, at least you know when you come out, of course depending on fuel usage, how close or far you are from the car that you've pitted with.
What I can say about fuel is that Fixer Chris has already got a substantial more amount of fuel left than the 2 runners in front of him. So he's being smart with what he's got. He's letting Apex and Tombo run off with it, burning a lot of fuel, and with a 29.9, that's a pretty good lap from Apex, but you'd probably be expecting more. And Tombo with a 31.1 on the mediums, it's probably not as bad as Fixer Chris would be maybe expecting, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
This is exactly what he wants.
I'm following Scooter, and at the moment he's having a hell of a time. Super Dragon's car is darting all over the track. There's been 2 or 3 times on the corners where he's been trying to pick where the car is, and it is just jumping all over the place, which is going to make his race very, very difficult. So,
as it looks like he has made the move stick this time. Yes, Dragon's car is jumping around a lot, I think.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
DJ Stefko now will have to contend with that. Meanwhile, the first 2 guys, Apex on soft has now built himself a 4.2 second lead. Back to Tombo, who's now built himself a 3.2 second lead. Back to Fixer Chris, who has PLE Goat 1 second behind him. And as we go through the field, Sekis is 1 second behind PLE Goat, Kazadro 2 seconds back, Adam half a second back to Kazadro, 3 seconds back to Scooter, who's now moving up to Captain Lowside now that he's passed Super Dragon. So there's not much to report at the moment. Probably the closest battle is between Fixer Chris, PLE Goat and Sekis, within about a second of each other.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of shaken out based on where their tyres should bring them. I think the only person who isn't where they want to be is Stefko, who's stuck behind hard runners while on the mediums, and being stuck behind Dragon, who you never quite know where he's going to be, is quite a daunting task. Dragon probably won't know what's up, but Stefko probably does. As he pulls alongside, it looks like Dragon might have let that one go. He might actually know that he is lagging rather vigorously, so...
Yep, he may be listening to the stream, and if he is, we've given him that advice, and so it looked like he also moved aside, as you said, to let DJ Steph go through. So after Super Dragon, we've got the first of our 2 pit stop runners, who was Adam and Dale. They're 14.5 seconds back behind Super Dragon, and they came out on the medium tyre also, so we would imagine the medium tyre probably will be the tyre of choice, given that you can stay out there for potentially between 12 to 14 laps, would you say, Corbin?
On the mediums?
On the mediums?
Not for people using controllers, but people who can drive smoothly and on a wheel, I think, can probably do that level of laps. I think someone like Apex, I'm picking, probably can. People like Chris probably can. Just the top runners will be able to do that, I think. With Apex, his tyres are looking good for end of lap 5 on the soft, so I think, Apex is in a good spot.
Yep, he definitely is. He's got himself a 5.7 second lead over Tombo, who's now built his lead out to nearly 5 seconds, will be by the end of this straight. Fixer Chris still has Goat within 1 second of him, and Sekis 1 second within Goat, so 2 seconds separating third to fifth. We imagine that this is where the race may be after the first set of pit stops, but once again, very difficult to judge the field when everyone's on different tyre compounds. Obviously, they're doing different lap times, and whether or not the front runners will be able to reach the same laps that these guys are doing on hards, we'll have to wait and see. I'm expecting that they may jump on the hards mid to late race.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Chris to do some rather long stints, and that's why he's sort of back where he is at the moment.
I'm predicting Chris will pit in lap 20. I think he's taken very good Well, we say that as he has a moment and a half. I think he's taking good enough care of his tyres at the moment that he will be able to go an extreme level laps. I think his tyres are considerably better than the other hard compound users. So I think he's looking at minimising the number of stops he has to make and hoping that he'll let the pit stops do all the work for him.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet looking at the tyre wear on the third, fourth and fifth place runners. Chris definitely has a huge advantage at the moment. His tyres are looking a lot better than Sekis and Goat. And Goat seems to have the least amount of fuel from these three runners. Sekis, surprisingly, is not that much worse than Chris. If anything, I think that they may be very, very close in fuel usage.
Yes, it appears Sekis could be using, just being nice and soft on it. I think he might be darting in and out of Goat's slip, and he might be using some of that to his advantage, and Goat using Chris's slip to just try and save what fuel he can in the pretty thirsty Corvette.
Yes, that's exactly right. The Corvette definitely loves to drink. Well, we're into lap 7. The front runners are coming around now to start lap 8. Now, Apex has built himself just over a 7-second lead back to Tombo, who's got a 6-second lead back to the group of 3 that we've just been discussing. Goat's brought that 1 second down to just under 8 tenths, and he has pushed his lead from Sekis out to 1.2, so Sekis starting to drop back just ever so slightly at the moment.
Yeah.
Looking back at the field as well, Cazadro is 2.4 seconds off this group. I don't think that that's changed too much since we last updated. Captain has reduced the lead that Cazadro's got. He's down to just under half a second as we speak. And DJ Stefko, great effort there. He's made his way into 8th position. He's gone past Scooter 82. Just looking at Scooter's lap times, he doesn't seem to have had an incident. They're all in the 32s, and DJ Stefko just seems to be performing. Of course, he's on the medium lap tyre, so we may well see DJ Stefko pick up a couple more positions here before he comes into pit.
Right. One person I do want to highlight their pace is Adam V10. He has been incredibly quick since pitting in for those mediums, lapping consistently in the mid-30s, being quicker than Apex in that last lap, and Apex is on softs, and being over a second quicker than other medium user Tombo. So I think he's playing himself in here. If the strategy plays out in the long run, he is frighteningly quick.
Yeah, that's well pointed out. Those are fantastic lap times on the medium tyre. So what's he done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 5 laps have been in the 130 as he comes just about to cross the start finish. We'll see whether or not this is also a 130. And he's just dipped into the 131s, but those lap times are still exceptionally fast, and as you've just rightly pointed out, we should expect him to jump a number of drivers once the pit stops start to happen.
Yeah, just in terms of a delta, he was about half a second quicker than Apex on that last lap, and 1.1 seconds quicker than Tombo on that last lap. So he's lapping quick. Anyone else lapping quickly? Stefko, he's in the 31s on the medium still, so I think he's still lapping all right. He's catching pretty quickly up to the back of low side, the battle pack of low side, and Cazadro.
And we're watching now. Adam is coming into pit. He's made those tyres last for 9 laps, and surprisingly, his rear right has nearly gone. I experienced that the fronts were the ones that suffered more than the back, but that's surprising tyre wear actually.
Porsche things, I think.
Okay.
MR cars are a little feistier, so I think that's probably not too surprising. But even if they were better, I don't think you'd want to push it another lap. But to go 10 laps on softs that's a bit scary.
Yep, so as he comes out, we'll have a look. He's filled to 71 litres and jumped on the mediums, and that'll put him in 10th position. And Adam is just coming around the corner and will be right on his tail. And I tell you what, that was not a bad move from Adam, given the fact that he's still got his softs to go. And he's right on the tail of Apex at the moment. Obviously, Apex has just got fresh tyres on the car, and Adam's been around for coming up to 9 laps on this set. So we should expect Apex to slowly start to drift away from Adam. But to be this close, what do you think, Corbin? I think that's not a bad move at all.
I certainly think he's done a really, really good strategy. As long as it plays out that he will end up doing an equal number of pit stops. He is playing himself in after what was a fairly average, not a terrible, but an average qualifying. He's playing himself in for a potential win. So I think he's done a fantastic job, and I think it'll leave a lot of the other upper midfield runners of Tombo, Chris, Goat, Sekis, Kazadro. It'll put them on notice, because I think he's going to jump the lot of them.
Yes, well, I think as you just pointed out, the strategies are so varied. We've got Chris, possibly Goat, sitting out there doing a huge amount of laps on the hard tyre. We've got Adam doing 1. So, yeah, how this is all going to shake out, we probably will not see until we get into the 51st lap. And maybe by then we might actually see where all the drivers pan out. But we're not going to see it up until late in the race due to the different tyre strategies.
Yeah, also want to point out Tombo's running around with a dead front right. It's been dead for a few corners now, so I think he's struggling to make his strategy work as a fellow controller user. I think he's trying to make the best out of his situation, and I know Havoc and Tombo spent a considerable amount of time in the previous week making a strategy that would work and be optimal for this race, but it appears though that Tombo being a controller might not make it work quite as well as expected.
That is a bit of a surprise as Tombo now comes into pit. We should see a few more pits from the field, or we may not actually. The bulk of the field
Stefko's staying out. He'll be going one more. But all credit to Tombo for making mediums last 10 laps on full fuel. I could only make him last 7, so I think it says a lot about how Tombo can make tyres work.
So he made him last for 11 laps.
Yes, 11 laps.
Yep. Now, just looking at the battle that was between Apex and Adam, Adam's now fallen back 1.6 seconds behind Apex Humpart. They've both now passed Super Dragon. Tombo's come out on his hard tyres with 87 litres of fuel, sitting right at the back, and he will probably be there until the entire field, or almost the entire field, comes off their hard tyres. So at least Tombo's got clean air and he can just race his own race for at least another couple of laps.
I do think maybe something's happened with Adam on the last lap, is that he has dropped a considerable amount of time. ZD has put something in the chat saying he doesn't think Adam might not be able to see Dragon, and it might have, because Dragon's lost a lot of time in that last lap as well, so they might have had a small coming together in that last lap.
Yep, just looking at lap times, Dragon's last lap was a 35, and he's been doing 32s and 33s, but just on board the Dragon at the moment. And yeah, there is a lot of jitter in his car at the moment, so that may have had something to do with a possible collision between those two drivers, which we missed on stream, unfortunately. But looking at Adam's time, I can't see anything. Obviously, he's done 30s and 31s. The last lap was a 32. He's back into the 31s again, but he's definitely starting to fall off Apex now, 2.6 seconds. So Apex has put another second on him. Apex now closely on the tail of Scooter 82 will probably get him at the end of this back straight.
Yep, I would imagine so. I think better tyres, better condition. He makes the lunge, keeps it clean, leaves him enough room on exit, but Scooter just doesn't have the drive on exit to make it work around the outside. So, but that's not quite what Apex will want to see. I think with his strategy and making those pit stops, he wants to come out in clean air so that he can just push, do clean laps, just don't have to worry about anyone. That's tough. But at the front of the field, it looks like Goat has kind of coming back and forth between Chris, but Chris's tyres are still considerably better than Goat, and he has an exceptional amount more fuel than Goat. So Chris is only going as quick as he needs to. He looks like he's probably just driving to a bit of a number, really.
Yep, he'll have a plan in his head, no doubt. He's done enough practice, and as we mentioned earlier, he's been doing some fantastic things in the stints that he's been doing the hard tyres. And as you said, Goats is sitting within the 1 second. I've been monitoring it. It's been going. It was down as close as 5 tenths, and it keeps blowing up to 9 tenths, back down to 7 tenths. So they are having a bit of a battle here. Unfortunately, Sekis has dropped right off the back of this group. He's now nearly 4 seconds behind Goat, and his tyres are looking as worn as Goat's, especially the front. And Kazadro is now slowly starting to... Oh, well, the gap was, last time I checked, it was 1.8. It's back out to 2.1. So that's also going up and down. Captain Lowside, in the meantime, is 1 second off the back of KZ. Apex Humper right on his tail. And you expect Apex will take another position here. He holds off.
Could have possibly tried to... You should be able to drive around the outside here, but he's holding him up. This is what Chris wants. Pitting it earlier and not starting on the hards. It's only making... Low side gives him a small tap. He's letting him know he's still here. He's not a free pass.
That's exactly right. He's gonna make him earn it, and you'd expect that it will happen on this front straight as they're side by side at the moment. Great anticipation there by Apex, just waiting for Captain just to drift out a little bit too wide.
I don't think Low side might be too happy about that, as Low side's tyres are looking more than just second hand. They are looking quite poor. It looks like Apex rolled out of it along the front straight. I think he might have thought maybe there's a bit too much contact for that overtake.
Yep, he's got past him now, but of course the Supra has got ridiculous pace. This time he's managed to make it work. I was going to say that on that front straight, he may have been a better option just to sit behind Captain and use his slipstream to close the gap until they got closer to the corner. But it doesn't matter at the moment. He's made his way through and starts to make time on Kazadro, who's just on half a second in front of him at the moment. Obviously, these guys that he's going through at the moment are all on hard tyres, and Apex is on the medium. He should make short work of these guys. Going around the outside of Kazadro, can't make that one work, has to dip in behind him again as they come down on the left-hander. He's going to try the inside move, as he does, with better grip, and picks up another position. Kazadro wisely there, just backing off.
While you're on with Apex there, Corbin, you're the expert. Tell us about his livery he's got on there.
Who, Apex?
Yeah.
Oh, this is in 1980s Tolman. I don't call me on the exact year. I will find it. But this was the Tolman that Senna made his Formula One debut in, if I'm not mistaken. We know Apex as a massive Verstappen fan, but he is also a massive Senna fan. So he's repping that old Tolman livery, which looks like an absolute masterpiece. Years active 1981 to 1985. Made by the one and only Gimp Man.
While you're explaining the livery there, we've had a group of 5 or 6 drivers come in and do pit stops. And I think Captain Lowside is... Everyone's come out on mediums. I'm just waiting to see whether Captain... I think Captain's coming out on hards again.
Or his Dragon's coming along that straight. He's not quite close enough to catch up and pass anybody. Is there any other liveries you'd like me to give a brief run through, Dodgy?
Well, look, you just mentioned Dragon then, didn't you? I think we've got one for him here too.
So Dragon, his is the old McLaren West liveries, which was run from the years 97 to 2006. This one's highlighted as year 2004, driven by David Coulthard and Kimi Räikkönen. And he said he chose this because Gimp Man made it, and all his... He didn't put in a favourite livery before Gimp Man had made it, so... but I think it looks beautiful. I think the black, grey, with the black and silver, with the red accents on it, I think makes it look like an absolute work of art.
Well, just about most of the guys now have come in for a pit stop. Dodgy, I think it might be a quarter of the way through the race. Might be a good time to have an ad.
Yeah, sure. Let's throw to one right now from Jade Finance Australia.
Do you own a business needing new equipment? Or perhaps you're wanting a good set of wheels for that shiny new bike licence? Maybe you're after that well-earned boat for retirement. Or you desperately need a new car or caravan for those family getaways? Get in touch with Jade Finance today.
And there we go. Thanks to Jade Finance Australia. As you can see on the front of Fixer Chris's car there as he passes, on the window banner, Jade Finance Australia are the naming sponsor for the Wheel to Wheel League for this season. They've been a great support over the last 3 seasons, and they also sponsor Dragon's team as well. So they're really getting in and giving us a red hot go here at Wheel to Wheel. Thank you, Jade Finance Australia.
Thanks for that, Dodgy. And back to the racetrack. Nothing happened while the commercial break was being played. At the moment, we've got Fixer Chris leading the race. Now under 2 seconds back is Apex Humper. Apex has been chewing away at that lead, down to 1.7, 1.6. He's really making inroads into Chris's lead, and Chris's tyres have still got potentially one more lap in there. Does he want to do a full 20? We will have to wait and see. Although it's down to 1.2 at the moment, so Apex is definitely down to 1. And while we're on these guys, we just might quickly run through the field and give an update after all those pit stops have happened. So Fixer Chris.
Just want to give a quick word of mention. It looks like we've lost one of our drivers. It looks like Dragon has dropped out.
Oh no, I didn't see that happen. Okay.
Is anyone able to verify that, whether it's just my screen or everyone else's? I can't. It says he just left the room.
No, I can't see him. I think he must have had a disconnect.
Yeah, same here. I can't see him either. I see my name has popped up in 12th there. I haven't ticked in, so yeah, I think something's happened. That is unfortunate. Once again, the netcode gremlins have come to meet us, and another driver bites the dust. That's unfortunate. We'll have to wait and see. Yes, he is. It'll be interesting to see what Fixer Chris does. Does he come out back on hards? He's still got 21 litres of fuel left after 19 laps, which is absolutely phenomenal. That's crazy work, that is.
That is really going to mess with his strat, though, I think. That 18 is a hard number to deal with. I don't know about you gentlemen, but in our race earlier, I thought the tyre wear was a lot more than I've seen all week. I don't know if it was something about the time of day or the cloud cover or something, but my tyres weren't lasting anywhere near as long as they were all week.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Corbin made the same observation just before the race started. It didn't seem as though the conditions were the same as those we'd been practicing in.
I think for me, once a race had started, it was more or less kind of what I expected. I knew I was going to struggle with them, which, yeah. But I think it's really easy to just, particularly in race scenarios, is just pushing maybe a little bit harder than what you maybe needed to. For someone like Chris, maybe pushing a little hard with the pressure coming from behind, from Goat and co. So I think 18's probably a rough number. I think maybe would have wanted to push an extra lap or two. I think he certainly had enough fuel for it. So it's what's done's done. So
yeah, we've got Dragon who's made a few comments in the chat for the stream saying that the game's impossible to race. Anytime it was in half a second of anyone, he punted them apparently, and it looks like he may have jumped out of his own accord, given that it seemed like he was having massive issues and possibly causing some mayhem within the track. That's unfortunate to hear, Dragon. No one ever wants to jump out of a race because of internet issues, so hopefully something will be worked out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dragon's Den seemed to be particularly hit hard by the lag bug. Flossie dropping out of race 2 last week at Monza, so as Adam makes a move on Kazedro. Yeah, I think it's one of those situations. I think what Dragon's done is commendable, holding out before something did happen. But yeah, it's tough to see, but the game's the game sometimes, and it's not always fair.
Yep, so obviously we've been commenting on his jitteriness. Obviously that was visible to him as well, which is why he may have decided to jump out. Okay, back to the race at the moment. We've got DJ Stefko sitting in second position after the bad start that he had. Goat 7 seconds behind him, and up in front we've got Apex Humper just under 20 seconds in front. So once again, the positions are not indicative of how the race is playing out. Everyone's on different strategies. They've had different pit stops. So as we mentioned earlier, it won't be till the last part of the race until we actually see where everyone sort of shakes out and who's in which position. But as it stands currently, we've got Apex Humper 20 seconds, DJ Stefko second, 6 seconds back to PLE Goat, 1.7 back to Tombo, who's still in contention there. Seckers 3 seconds off the back of Tombo in fifth. Fixer Chris now in 6th, 3 seconds off Seckers, 3.5 seconds back to Adam in 7th. In 8th, we've got just under a second back to Kazadro from Adam. Scooter 82, 3.5 tenths back from Kazadro. Captain, who's 10 seconds back behind Scooter 82. Dale 3 seconds behind Adam, and I'm showing in 12th, and I can guarantee you I am not racing.
So, did we show Cap's car? Was that one of the cars we showed?
No, we've only shown Apex's and Dragon's while he was still with us.
Well, if you just happen to have Cap's there, I always found this car very interesting. While I don't have the picture I want of it, tell us a bit about that car.
Ooh, so this was a rather controversial car. This is the old Tyrrell P34, which might not bring a lot of name value to it, but when you call it the six-wheeled Formula One car, I think everybody knows what you're talking about. This was really, it was controversial. I think it got banned fairly quickly. I think, it's very controversial. Drivers, Jody Scheckter. Notable results, it got 1 win and 1 pole. So it was a successful car, not a highly successful car, but it was successful nonetheless.
Yeah, so you can't really see it in the photo I've got, but it does have 2 axles at the front. You've got 4 tyres at the front of that behind the front wing and 2 huge tyres at the back.
There you go. I had no idea that was even a thing. No wonder it was controversial.
Yes. Is there any other liveries you want to go through, Dodgy?
Oh,
While
look,
we have the time.
let's get my favourite out. I'll say a big hello to Family Stefko that are no doubt watching at the moment, because they always do. I did see Mrs. Stefko pop in earlier, so hello, Mrs. Stefko and baby Stefko. Tell us all about Stefko's car, Dragon.
Oh, I genuinely don't even need to see the card for this. Genuinely, my favourite Formula One livery of all time, the infamous BAR zipper. Oh, hold it there, Stefko. Zipper design for 1999, driven by Jacques Villeneuve and Riccardo Zonta and Mika Salo, I think, filling in for an injured Zonta for a couple of rounds. Notable results? No. The car was famous for blowing up, and if it didn't blow up, the drivers crashed. I think Villeneuve retired from the first 9 races of the season as a result of him binning the car and the engine blowing out, which I think was a Supertech engine, a rebadged Renault engine after they'd pulled out of the sport as a works entry. Zipper design because the FIA wouldn't grant them 2 separate liveries with a 555 and their Lucky Strike. So in a little bit of protest, they decided they'd put both on the singular car.
There you go. And I do believe that's another Gitman special.
Yes. Shout out to our boy Gimp. He is a Leonardo da Vinci of Gran Turismo liveries.
Yeah, should
shout out to Mrs. Stefko.
Yeah, it should be stated that as well as some top racers, some of the guys in the league have got some fantastic skills.
Yes, it's not all the skills are on track, so...
That's right. As we speak, Apex is, as Dodgy's pointed out, is in off the hard tyre. I don't know how long he's done. He went 9 for the soft and 24, so what's that? It's about 15 laps on the hard. And he's off with a splash in the car, 46 litres, and he's on the soft tyre again.
This is an interesting strategy from Apex. I was expecting him to maybe do a few more on the hards, and then he would be essentially on the same strategy as Chris, but it looks like he's jumped off that, so it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Obviously, the gaps in the field, you really can't judge them too hardly until you're looking at your lap 55s, 56s. Because
yeah, that's right.
Everyone here will be doing their own mental math, saying how many more stops everyone should be looking at. I know I was doing that from about lap 35 onwards. So I think, still a lot to play out so far. So.
Yep, I'm just on board with Chris as we speak, and of course he came in off the hard tyre, jumped on the medium. He's now sitting well within half a second of Seckers, who just 1 moment ago had his indicator on, but I think Chris was just too far off. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he makes a move down the straight here or whether he just stays in the slip and saves some fuel. Goat is currently our leader by nearly 6 seconds from Seckers and Fixer Chris on the medium tyre. And, I was with Seckers there, and Fixer Chris has just given him a small tap as they negotiate these next set of corners, so he's right on his tail as we speak. He goes for
it's a dive.
I think that probably wasn't the move to make. I think he might getting a bit itchy behind Seckers. Seeing the gap to go extend, I think he's looking at trying to make quick work of Seckers, but he needs to make it clean, as I think our stewards rules are very clear about what is a clean and what isn't a clean overtake.
Yep, and he did well there. He backed off and sat behind rather than trying to push through. I'm trying to figure out whether or not, once again, Sekas has got his indicator on. I don't know whether or not he's actually struggling to keep pace with the car in front. He just does not have the top end speed to get up close, which is why he's trying to make a pass in the corners. He's got better corner speed, but he hasn't been in a position where he can make a clean move as we speak.
So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for Chris. I think he's by far got the pace on Sekas. I think Sekas brings the indicator on. I think they're finally kind of giving up that fight. I think it's better for both of them if Chris just goes in front and can just maybe bring Sekas along with him. I think Goat's tyres are looking pretty sorry, so they'll be looking at trying to make up maybe half a second to a second and lap it a bit, depending on when Goat goes in.
Yep, I'd expect to see Goat. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he's going to try his luck with one more lap? That front right doesn't look like it's going to make a full lap.
No, but it depends what Havoc's spreadsheet says. So if Havoc's spreadsheet says he needs to pit in next lap, I think he'll. But I wouldn't be too surprised as Tombo looks like he's on the same strategy with his mediums looking his hards looking pretty short. So we'll have to see. His Goat looks like he's coming in.
Yep, definitely. Okay, that should give Chris at least, I'm assuming maybe a 30, 35, probably a 40-second lead by the time Goat comes out. Sekas still within 1 second of Fixer Chris, so he's definitely taking advantage of the slip there.
Yep.
Tombo's also into pits, coming off his hards. He's got 6 litres left. So
looks like there's only the one battle packet in the moment for P8 between Lowside and Dale Teeks.
Dale's on the medium and Captain's on the hard tyre. Both tyres are pretty similarly worn, and Captain's just got a smudge less fuel than Dale, but there doesn't seem to be too much difference other than the tyre compound to these guys as Dale closes up under brakes.
Oh, get a bit squirrely. Come on, guys, still a long way to go left.
Yeah, that's definitely not a corner you want to exceed the track limit on. It's 2.5 seconds, potentially more, depends on what the game thinks, how much time you may have actually saved. And if you're going out on the grass there's probably a high probability you're not saving any time at all, but the computer's happy to slap you with a 2.5 second penalty.
To complicate things even further, Apex is caught up onto the back of this train, so I think it's with the two dam drivers, 7th and 8th, I think this is only hurting Apex considerably. Is it can't? It's going to make a move? No, this is just Apex has not been lucky with traffic so far. I think he's, especially on softs, if he's doing another stint on softs, he needs to really be ringing the car as Dale, not leaving him any room on the exit there.
Yes, that was a bit of a surprise. Actually, I would have thought Dale would have stayed low or high early. Maybe he was trying to keep out of his way by staying high and didn't realise that
Apex is going with him there.
Yeah. Yep, so I'd expect Apex will make short work of Captain as well. He's on the soft, considerably better tyre wear at the moment than Captain. He'll get him under brakes here. Captain takes a defensive line. This will be interesting.
As Guta is in the pits, he's just exiting now onto some fresh mediums.
And that's a great move by Apex going around the outside.
Low side's going to fight it.
Being in the Super, he's got the pull in that thing, but he's got the outside lane, which is not going to help him in this corner. And Apex will, from this point on, take advantage as everything is the right-hander, so he should stay in front here. Already pushed it out to half a second, so he just had to bide his time and has finally made it through. It's up to 1 second already. So Captain trying to hold that off for as long as he possibly could. Still has Dale close in tow right behind him. And we're expecting these guys may well come in shortly. Captain Lowside's fuel starting to flash. He may have one more lap left in him. We'll have to wait and see as he comes past the final corner onto the front straight. Dale right behind him there, giving him a bit of a tap forward. Obviously got slightly better tyres, and Captain staying close. Does he dart in? No, he stays out for one more. Meantime, Sekis is in for another tyre and fuel top up.
Is DJ Stefko also is into the pits. An early stop, he still has a lot left on those hards, so maybe it's just get a hards out of the way and hopping onto some mediums. A modified version of the damn racing strategy.
It is strange though. I think he's only been on the hards for what looks to be 2, possibly 3 laps.
Yeah.
Alright, so he hasn't been on them for long, but if
Dale's... Oh, he's close. I just closed the door on him on entry. It looks like both drivers will be looking at pitting in this lap, so it's...
Yep, and Captain just does not want to let another position go. He's in 5th at the moment with Dale closely followed in 6th. There's a bit of this is about the only battle at the moment. Most of the field is fairly well spread due to the varied strategies for the pits and fuel. But these two guys we expect will be in just after this corner as they come around onto the front straight, and Dale once again right on the tail of Captain, giving him another tap.
Adam and Kazedro are both in as well. They're both pitting. They are.
They are. So
Dodgy, do you want to run through another retro livery?
Sure, who are you looking at? Yeah, who are you looking at, Corbin?
We'll do Fixer Chris leading the race.
Absolutely.
So Fixer Chris, probably a personal touch for him. It's the old 2016 Manor Racing MRT05, driven by Pascal Wehrlein, Esteban Ocon, and notably Rio Haryanto, who was the first Indonesian Formula One driver. Was he any good? No. But he was dropped mid-season after his financial backing dried up. But to be fair to the bloke, Manor wasn't a good car either, so the highlight of the season was Austria, with Pascal Wehrlein scoring the only point. And shouldn't come as a shocker to anyone, this livery was also provided by the Gimp Man.
We've got Apex Humper now, just who's come in, changing off the softs, or is he? We'll have to wait and see. He's had 2 soft stops at the moment with I think it was a medium, or was it a hard? Can you recall?
No.
So he started on the softs. I think he came in on mediums. And he's gone out on softs, and he's refueling, and he's back out on softs again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely going through these pit stops, and unfortunately they're pushing him back further and further in the field. This will be really interesting to see how this pans out. He finds himself 51 seconds off the lead. Well, yes, that's interesting.
Yep, as it appears everyone's kinda doing their best at social distancing. I think the closest battle pack we've got is Lowside and Stefko. So do you want to quickly run through, as Chris has just popped into the pits, while we've got a little bit of a down period, do you want to run through another livery, Dodgy?
Go for it, who are you chasing?
We'll look at Goat, sitting in P2.
Go for it.
So Goat is Goat's livery is based off of the colloquially termed Goatifi, the Nicholas Latifi livery from 2021 for Williams. Notable results. I think Russell got a few points out of the car in that season. On Latifi's end, he was notable for crashing and bringing out the final safety car at the Abu Dhabi race that's led to the infamous robbery of Abu Dhabi, depending on who you ask. But yes, a livery of the 2021 Williams Challenger.
Sweet. Do we know who made this one?
I believe Goat made this himself.
Well, the boy has talent.
Wow. Depends who you ask, but can't be too nice to him. He is leading the race, so we can only let him have so much.
And I'll just give a quick update. Just behind Goat, Sekis and Fixer Chris have now closed right up. Fixer Chris is less than half a second behind Sekis, and Fixer Chris is on the medium tyre. I expect that he will pass Sekis at some stage, but once again, we did see Fixer Chris have trouble with overtaking on the straights in that Mazda. So we'll see how he goes with Sekis here again, sitting behind him.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see if the same result of Sekis just letting Chris through happens again. I think for Sekis, looks like he's in a really good spot at the moment, and he might be better off just not fighting Chris too heavily. I think you're only going to lose more time, and every second you burn is a second you can't give away in this division.
That's exactly right. Just a quick note, Adam, who came in off the hards on the first lap, is currently in 5th position, only 7.5 seconds off the lead. So he's sitting comfortably at the moment, in quite a good position, given that he had that early pit stop, and his strategy may actually come to pay dividends for him come closer to the end of the race.
Another battle pack we got is Apex, Humper and Scooter 82, the battle for 6th place. A softs versus mediums battle, as Apex just happy to kind of sit in behind. These guys are proving more patient than what I was in the Division 2 race. I knew that if there was a driver that was slower than me, I made sure to pass them, dispatch them at the first available opportunity. Dodgy, you were one of the victims of that.
Yeah, but Dodgy saw you coming and stayed out very wide, Corbin.
Yeah, you have a couple incidents and you get a bit of a reputation, so...
Yeah, well, he's on the outside here. He's going to try to make a move around the outside. It looks like he may have got it done. He does. And he's just gone past Scooter there around the outside. A brave move, but obviously on softs and having a lot more grip in the Porsche, which is quite a good handling car. While we've got this opportunity, and we will get to the battle group up front, Kazadro closing on Sekis. Chris is now past Sekis. I might just do another call out for our sponsors, Dodge. I might do Hybrid Ag.
Yeah, go for it.
So Hybrid Ag is the sponsor for one of our race teams, Scuderia Quadrifoglio. Hybrid Ag is passionate about educating people about the importance of nutrient density and significant beneficial impacts this can have on our health and the environment. They help people to apply this knowledge with a view to transform food quality as they know it today. So if you want to learn more about Hybrid Ag, go to their website, www.hybridag.com.au. Back to the race.
Alright, as the battle for first is heating up with Chris all over the back of Goat, a mediums versus hards battle as Sekis is looking at it from a distance, as Goat looks like he's not going to fight too hard and let Chris through.
Chris very much squeezing him for room there, did not let up at all, made made him take that outside line as far as he possibly could. Now, Goat, obviously on the hard tyre, would have made it very difficult for him to actually try to compete on that corner from the outside. So Chris is now pulled away, and we've got this group of 4 cars at the front, all 2.1 seconds apart. So this is where the race is at the moment, but none of the cars close enough for any kind of competition.
While we are running with these top 4, do you want to quickly run through the livery run by Kazadro and Sekis?
Go for it. We're on right now.
Sweet. So this is a retro livery from the 2003 Jaguar R4, driven by Mark Webber, Antonio Pizzonia, and Justin Wilson. The Jaguar liveries remaining quite untouched from their first season in 2000 and their last season in 2004. I think later bought by the Red Bull Group, and Jaguar bought off of the Stewart's team as a factory Ford entry, using via the Jaguar manufacturer. So it's a beautiful car. It's remained hot in the memory of a lot of Formula 1 fans as one of the best looking Formula 1 liveries of all time.
One of the best without wheels too.
Yes. Yes, as Mark Webber found out in 2003. It's no surprise at this point who made the livery. It's Gimp Man again. I think we ran through most of the ones Gimp Man has done in this field. There might be a couple more, so big shout out to Gimp Man, as he has put in a lot of hours making a lot of retro liveries for people, and he does not miss a beat with them.
So while you were...
Sorry, Ned, I was going to say, for the record, Captain Low Sides livery, I believe, was a Molten Ash special, who is another livery legend within Wheel Wheel.
Yes, Molten Ash, the OG of livery legends.
While you were running us through that particular livery, both Sekis and Kazadro have passed Goat. Hopefully that was live on stream while you were talking through that livery, but Goat has now fallen back 4 seconds. So he's gone from 1st to 4th in the space of...
Two, by the look of it.
Oh, he's right on his tail, yeah.
Right on him. Goat looks like he's struggling a lot with that, with those hards he's got on. Some cars just do handle better on the harder compounder tyres than others.
Sportsman, like I was going to say, sportsmanship there. Goat put the indicator on and let Adam through, who's blinking at him at the moment. So great work there from Goat, realising he doesn't have the corner speed to keep up with these guys on a better tyre compound.
Curious strategy from Apex behind him, who's got his fuel light blinking at him, but he's still got a lot of tyre left. So it's interesting to see that he's not necessarily using all. He might be looking at maybe going another lap. Hard to say if he's actually got the fuel to do that.
So at the last pit stop when Apex came in, he was 51 seconds off the lead. Now it's down to 6.5 after these guys have also gone in. But Apex, after you just pointed out there, Corbin, he's going to have to come in again. He doesn't have the fuel to do another lap. So he's going to find himself a fair way back again. I don't know whether or not this soft strategy is working for him. Goat pulls aside and lets him through.
Yeah, this has certainly turned into a very costly few laps for Goat. I think as long as he's keeping the pace where he wants to and getting a tenth or two in the straights, I don't think he'd be too mad. But this is kind of just what happens when you're on a harder compounder tyre racing against people on softs and mediums.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at Goat's lap times on the hard, and he's done 141, the rest have been 42s. He's got a couple of 43s, and that last one was a 34. Sorry, 33s and 34s. That last one was a 34. So he's definitely not showing pace on the hards. He probably knows he's got to stay out due to his strategy for at least another one, maybe 2 more laps before he tries to come in and pit for something a little bit better on the tyres. But while all that happens, Fixer Chris just builds that lead 7.5 seconds back to PLE Goat, and the other guys, Adam has now gone past Kazadro as well, and he's closing up now on second. So Adam looks like he may have played a great strategy coming in off on the first lap off that hard tyre compound. Once again, as you've mentioned, and our observations have pointed out, that we won't know until we get into that the last couple of laps, or into the 50s. But at the moment, he's looking well placed.
He is. I'm trying to look for another battle pack. Do you want to run through another livery, Dodgy?
You're the man.
We'll hop on to Adam V10. Running a beautiful Ferrari livery. In particular, he has highlighted the 2003 Ferrari driven by Rubens Barrichello and Michael Schumacher. Notable results, no shock, winning the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Beautiful car. Yeah, and big shout outs to the OG livery designer Maltnash for making this livery. Looks beautiful.
Certainly does.
As Kazadro's in the pits getting a nice top up of fuel. Hopping onto mediums. With 20 laps left, drivers will be looking at how many more stops they've got to do. I think most will be looking at another 2 stops. Another stop or 2. Maybe Kazadro might only need 1 more.
I think it's a safe bet there, Corbin. As you said, Kazadro probably 1 more, but the rest of the field definitely 2. Just looking quickly at Chris. Tyres just a little over half worn. He's on mediums. He's got enough fuel. He's at 1/4 of a tank at the moment. So he's yet to do his softs, I believe.
Yes. So that might mean he's going to need to stop another 2 times. I think with 20 laps left, he might be a hard... No, he'd be looking at mediums and softs, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, is it doesn't make sense to go on the hards now, especially with 20 laps to go, 8 and 12, softs, mediums. That'll be the way to go. Rather than doing, as you said, he still needs to put the softs on, so yeah, you wouldn't see him going on to the hards.
As Apex has just made a move on the last corner up the inside of low side. Again, softs versus hards. We're seeing a lot of overtakes for people on the differing compounds, the tyres. And Apex looks like he's having a lot of fun just passing a lot of people, so...
Is it just me, or does it seem to be Cap and Apex always together at the moment?
It is. I guess when you're having to do stops at a similar-ish time, you're in the same strategy, you're gonna come out and see the same people a lot. I noticed it a lot in Div 2. I had a couple stints where I came out and I was around MCDC and Rudel, I want to say. MCDC and maybe you Frolic or something like that, and it was just a case of, oh my god, I got to deal with these guys again. So I think the same phrase is going through Apex's head, saying, well, I'm on softs, he's on mediums or hards, I have to make a move on him again. It can get quite jarring sometimes, and I think Apex, while he is on the faster tyre, I think he's on an interesting strategy. I'm not entirely sure how this is all going to play out. Looks like he has just the 1 stop left, so it'll be interesting to see where he shakes out.
Just a quick update, Tombo's coming around to burn a 1-second penalty, which will give DJ Stefko the run on him, and it looks like he's definitely going to be able to pass him. He'll go straight by DJ Stefko. Oh no, he's straight into the pits.
As Scooter, Sekis and Goat are also all in the pits, as Scooter hitting that target 0 perfectly.
Well, while these guys are in the pits, they're all starting to come out now. Goat's come out with 45 litres on the soft tyre. And who else have we got? We've got Sekis coming out on the medium. finds himself passed by Apex as we speak on the soft. Just in front of them, there's Tombo. So Tombo's made his way.
Goat has just come out in front of Kazedro. It was low sides, picked up a 2-second penalty.
Oh wow!
It's hard to see Kazedro passing Goat as Goat just come out in fresh softs. Apex looks like he's pestering Tombo, who's on very worn out hards, and Apex is on fairly fresh softs, and Sekis is thinking the exact same thing. As Tombo's tyres look like they're in a sorry state, so Sekis makes a move as well.
Yep, Tombo's followed within 2 corners by 2 cars, unfortunately.
We'll run through Tombo's livery quickly.
Sure.
So this is a retro livery of the 2002 Minardi PSO2, ran by Mark Webber and Alex Young. Notable results: a 5th on debut in Australia for Mark Webber, back in an age where points is only given out to the top 6, so it was a massive achievement for Minardi to be scoring points. This livery Tombo picked because it was the year of his birth year and one of his favourite drivers, Mark Webber. And big shout out to this guy called CCH199 making that livery.
I think he
I
cheated and
reckon
copied
he's
it.
a god.
We might just stay with Tombo. His tyres are about to expire, and hopefully, I haven't given him a commentator's curse, but hopefully he'll get around as he's got Kazedro right on his tail at the moment. Goes up the inside. Hopefully Tombo can navigate the next couple of corners and get himself home into the pits without any incident. The front right has now disappeared. The front left should be okay for him to get around the next 3 corners to get into the pits. He finds himself in 8th position now, captain 5.5 seconds off, so he's not in any jeopardy of being passed before he gets into the pits, but he's definitely going to struggle getting around these next couple of corners.
Hopefully, it appears he started the lap with quite worn out tyres, so I'm guessing he's working as per the Havoc spreadsheet. So hopefully that's going to pay dividends for him later on in the race, but certainly losing a lot of time in the last couple laps.
So he comes in. Sorry, mate.
Oh, just using those worn out hard tyres, which aren't a fun tyre to be on to begin with, yet alone when they're fully worn out.
So captain follows him into the pits, and out comes Chris with, let's quickly check, Chris is on mediums, which means that he'll do this stint and have to come in for one more on the softs.
Yeah. So I would imagine, considering the time, I think... Had Chris used mediums before?
I don't think so. I'm not quite sure now. I think he may have actually, yeah.
Because I was about to say, with 17 laps left, he might have got away with doing 2 soft stints.
Yeah, I think he did use a soft. So in comes Adam, who's been leading the race since for the last half lap while Fixer Chris went in. He's 28 seconds in front. We'll see where he comes out.
Big battle pack with Dale, Goat and Sekis, the battle of 4. As Goat makes a move up on the inside with Dale on worn out mediums, Goat on fairly fresh softs and Sekis on brand new mediums. Looks like Dale's flashing the hazards at Sekis, indicating he's going to go into the pits.
Rightly so.
Adam there as well, he's coming out of the pits on brand new soft tyres. I would imagine it's going to be two stints of softs for Adam. And I'd imagine it's probably going to be the same for Dale, as they are in the same team and they've been tag teaming that strategy.
Okay, so he's still got... So most of the cars as we speak are potentially one stop left. It'll just be a case of whether it's early 50s or mid 50s or low 50s. But the car's starting to settle into position here. Adam Adam in not a bad position in fifth at the moment, just behind Sekis, who's on mediums. Adam on softs. It'll only be a matter of time before he actually gets past Sekis. And Sekis has done a great job to keep up with Goat, who's on softs. It's only 1.2 seconds away, so that's not too far at all. Apex Humpo is now only 2.5 seconds off the back of Fixer Chris. Chris being on mediums and Apex being on softs, we can expect that he will start to chew away at that lead. And while we've got a small break at the moment, the only real action is between Sekis and Adam. How about we throw to another commercial, Dodgy?
Yep, I will. It just looks like Adam's taken the inside now, coming into T1 first. He's going to make the move. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, not a problem at all. He's got that. So there we have Adam takes Sekis at T1, and we might go from there into a spot from, who we got, 180 Embroidery. Yeah, and there we have it. A huge thank you to 180 Embroidery, been a 2-season sponsor of Team Dodgy Racing, and also they're the guys that look after Wheel to Wheel with our merch, our team shirts. They do our trophies as well. They do a lot behind the scenes for Wheel to Wheel. So thanks again to 180 Embroidery for all your help.
Big ups.
Thanks. Sorry, go ahead, Corbin.
Oh, just big ups to 180 Embroidery. It looks like we're getting a bit of a battle pack forming for 8 between Stefco, Dale Teets and Tombo. With Dale and Tombo catching Stefco on mediums and the others on softs.
Yep, I was just going to mention Fixer Chris is out by nearly 3 seconds at the moment, but the two notable battle groups are at the moment Apex, Goat, Adam and Sekis, which are about 4 seconds apart. And then you've got back to DJ Stefko, as you just pointed out, Dale and Tombo. And Captain Lowside finds himself at the back of the pack, 54 seconds off. So just looking at his times, I can't. Oh, yep, he pulled a 37 on his 41st lap, so he's had an issue there. He's fallen considerably off the back of the pack.
Yep, as Dale and Tombo look like they're just eking more and more time into the back of Stefco.
Yep, so I think we might dodge it if we get on top of Adam at the moment. He's coming up to both Goat and Apex Humper. This is where the race looks like it is. They've closed right up, and there's about a second between these three cars here.
So as Apex pulls into the pits, I would anticipate he's going to put on some mediums for 14 laps.
Yeah, it sounds like a fair bit. Yep.
As Tombo and Dale have both completed a move on DJ Stefco, and Tombo, he gives Dale a small tap. Careful there, Tombo. You don't want to end up in a steward's report.
Yes, there's a fair bit of work last week for the stewards with, I think it was 12 incidents in total, the bulk of them coming from Div 1 at Monza. Unfortunate round for some of the boys there. There was a bit of biffo.
Yep. Is everyone looks like they're shaking out. Do we want to quickly run through the last of the retro liveries? We'll skew to 82.
Sure, let's find him. There he is. Go for it.
Right, so this is 1995, the Footwork FA16. Again, not one of those immediately recognisable liveries, but and if I named one of the drivers you probably wouldn't know, of Gianni Morbidelli and Max Pappas. But if you were to mention the number 10 car, which is driven by the original goat, Taki Inoue. Again, maybe won't bring notoriety, but if I said he's a driver that was hit by the medical car, then you might recognise there's a famous clip on YouTube of him in his broken down footwork running to grab a fire extinguisher, running back to the car, and in that act getting hit by getting run over by the medical car. So I believe no injuries were caused, but but yes, I think the livery is a beautiful kind of funky 90s liveries that just, they had a lot of interesting liveries, the footwork team. I think they all look beautiful. I think it's creative design, and Scooter specifically requested it. So, and again, shout out to the CCH 199 for the livery. It appears he's had his work cut out and has made some good looking livery. Sorry.
Well done, CCH 199.
Yeah,
they do take a bit of time, so you need to invest a fair bit of time, find the decals, put the livery together, assess whether or not it even looks like the original. So yeah, all the guys that have spent the time, I know that it usually takes me about a decade to put together a livery, so I'm very thankful that I have others that are happy to do that on behalf of drivers like myself.
Yep. So just as we've wrapped up all the retro liveries in this lobby, I just want to give just a big shout out to everyone who has put the time in to make a special livery for this round. Can be a lot of effort for just one race, so it's big thanks to everyone who's made this worth it. I think there's a lot of really, really nice looking liveries on the grid, and as a bit of an F1 nerd like myself, I do love just scrolling through and just looking at all the liveries. So I'll be taking lots of escapes photos after this.
Yes, well, we're on the 49th lap. Almost at the back end of this race, as most of the field have almost come around and started the 50th lap, so we're getting to the back end of this particular race, and before the rest of the drivers come in and do their final pit, Dodgy, we might go to the final ad.
Absolutely, I'll crank them up now. This is AMS Excavations. Yes, and thanks again to AMS Excavations as well. Also a 2-season sponsor now, I believe, for the Damn Hexagon crew in their bright purple and orange cars, Porsches this season, looking mighty fine, I might add. Thanks to those guys, they give a lot of support to Wheel to Wheel, and we hope to see them back next season.
Yes, and while we're there, sponsors of CP Motorsports, Permobil, thank you very much for sponsoring one of the league's teams. And at Permobil, their purpose is to innovate for individuals to create advanced solutions that make their lives of people living with disabilities more enriching. Their dedicated team works tirelessly to make this happen. At Permobil, they are leading change. They see ability. Check out their website at www.permobil.com. Thank you to all our sponsors for being involved in the league.
Absolutely, and Permobil are new this season, so they're looking at trying out some big things with Wheel to Wheel, so we look forward to a partnership with them leading into season 13.
Oh wow, That's exciting news.
Big ups to all our sponsors.
Okay, so as we get now into the 51st lap, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. After 50 laps, this is where the race starts. we will see the last of our pit stops happen, and then we will actually get a better understanding of exactly where everyone sits. But at the moment, we've got Fixer Chris and Adam out front with just under 2.5 seconds between these two guys. 6 seconds back to Sekis, 16, almost 17 seconds back to Scooter in fourth. Apex Humper is on medium and will be coming in possibly within the next 2 laps. As I said, 17 seconds behind Sekis. Apex Humper is 13 seconds behind Scooter. Dale is got himself in the mix here. He's only 1.5 seconds off Apex Humper, sitting in 6th. PLE Goat is 2.7 seconds back behind Dale in 7th. DJ Stefko 3 seconds back in 8th. Kazadro 2.5 seconds back to from DJ Stefko in 9th. Captain in 10th, 4 seconds or nearly 5 seconds back from Casadro, and Tombo finds himself 28 seconds behind the pack, and I'm just looking at his lap times to figure out why he's that far back.
He's just burnt another penalty, and it was a sizable one.
Oh wow.
And I think he has spent some considerable laps running with poor tyres, so I think he's having a fun time. But I think in terms of effective where people are, Apex is tied up to the end. Goat has tyres to the end, and Kazadro
at the
tyres to the end.
Apex versus Chris time. Chris has got to come in, and Apex is only 38 seconds behind him.
Yep.
Yes, but I think the thing in Chris's favour will be that he'll be coming out on the softs, so I would imagine he'll be in this lap. I think maybe it was a mistake going an extra lap. I think Chris could have definitely made the softs last longer than what would it be, like 7 laps?
But Apex is pretty good at defending, so
yes.
If Apex slips it in front, Chris could be in a world of hurt.
Yep, so we're expecting the top 4 runners to be making their final pit stop. So we've got Fixer Chris, Adam Sekis, Scooter 82. Adam is on his mediums, will not be stopping again. So the first 4 guys, it'll be interesting to see where they shake up after their next pit stop.
Yes, I should also mention that Apex's mediums are worse than Goat's mediums, only 5 seconds behind him. So I think while Apex is in a good spot track position wise, he might be compromised for tyres at the very, very end of the race.
Yeah, and they can get dodgy.
Yep, and depending on where the front 4, as Adams come in for his pit, he's gonna, well, you'd expect he's gonna, and so is Sekis. You'd expect that. Yep.
He has.
His fuel is going to be touch and go.
This is an interesting strategy from Chris. I'm surprised to say the least, but it'll be interesting to see where an Adam comes out in relation to Apex.
Well, it'll give him 6 laps on the softs, so they're going to be the best set of tyres on the track in coming into the final run. It's just a case of where he actually comes out.
Apex might only just clear Adam here. Adams actually looks like he's going to stay ahead of Apex, so I think this might be good news for Chris, but I think Chris does seriously need to pit this lap. Well, he's not going to have fuel to go another lap, but I think given the situation, I think he needed to have hopped off those tyres a lap or 2 ago.
Yeah, mate, I tend to agree. I don't know whether or not the 34 seconds has got to be enough. I think he may have gone 1 lap too many, so as he jumps on a pair of softs now to do 6 laps, he won't need as much fuel as everybody else, but of course they're going to be coming around, and given that an average stop with a little bit of fuel is around 40 seconds, he could find himself, if not under attack, in the meat in the sandwich.
Yep, and you've got 2 hungry damn hexagons coming at him, so I think and a Goat waiting in the winds, and a Sekis just looking outside the door and the bushes. So
as he comes out now, it looks like he's actually going to be able to clear these guys. Oh, this is going to be close.
Adam's going to be pushing. I reckon Adam might jump Chris here. He is. Oh, it's going to be close. They're going to be fighting tooth and nail here. This is for the win.
Oh, not quite enough.
No. I'd have to say that he would want to bide his time. I think that the Porsche has definitely got the speed on the corners. It's got better corner speed. Down the straight, I don't think either car's got much of an advantage. So I think this will be a tight race towards the end, and you can just see that Apex is going to join this group. The only thing is,
he might struggle on those mediums. I think the gap might only increase. Might be tough.
No, good, well pointed out. I thought he was on softs as well. He's on mediums, and they're about a third worn. So yes, that might grow, but and don't think he's going to be under attack by Goat, who are also on mediums. They're about a third worn as well. Seckers on soft tyres may be able to make inroads on Goat, so Goat may also come under fire in the last few laps. But the race at the moment seems like it is at the front for first and second. Well, this is going to be exciting. It'll be a case of who falls first.
Yep. The
Did
high
Chris put
power,
enough
the
fuel in?
considering the level of fuel, like the actual fuel economy of that Mazda, I'd say he has. He might have slightly underfueled, but I think, I think it's going to be tight.
Yeah, so
there's a lot left. He's planning to target 0.
So it'll be interesting to see whether Adam actually was keeping an eye on the amount of fuel that went into Chris's car. He'd potentially want to push here, Chris, and not let him lighten off the accelerator to keep his position and force him to use more fuel to put him in a precarious position towards the last couple of laps.
Yeah. Sekus looks like he's growing in the rear mirror of Goat. About half a second off now, so he's catching up, and I wouldn't be awfully surprised if he does make serious inroads to Apex. I think Apex's tyres are starting to look a bit getting worse for wear. They're not too bad currently, but alright.
Well, Scooter's got himself a 2-second penalty. That's unfortunate for Scooter. He's got a 13-second lead back to Dale, and we also should mention that Dale, that's a fantastic effort at the moment, sitting in 8th position, having no practice, started at the back of the grid, has done a fantastic job to get himself into 8th.
Yeah, well done to Dale. He's held his own so far, and I think he's done a good job, and he is repping the normal damn hexagons livery, so it's a good effort from him, as Sekus is right on the back of Goat now. Quarter of a second, less than 1/10. He's going to make the move.
Yep, he looks like he's got it done unless Goat comes back at him. He tries to, gives him a small touch. That might have been a bridge too far there for Goat, especially on the harder compounds, on the medium compound tyres compared to Sekus on the softs. It was going to be a tough ask to make that pass work.
Yeah, look, after a tap like that in that corner, I'd be more worried about the skid marks in Seca's car than left on the track.
Well, I think, judging by the gap that Sekus has put on 1 second, I think... Oh no, he's got himself a 4-second penalty.
4 seconds? Oh,
oh no, I don't know where he got that penalty. Far out, that's huge.
Oh, Novus. Yeah,
wow.
I think that's going to hurt. I think with 4 laps left and a 3-second gap to Apex, I would have backed Sekus to be catching and to pass Apex, so...
Yes, well, that's definitely going to hand back Goat the position, and potentially bring Kazadro into play. We'll have to wait and see. Sekas will have to try to push this out, this lead out to 2 seconds if he can, to give himself any kind of chance to come back at Goat towards the last 2 laps. But that's unfortunate. 4 seconds. That's a huge slap in the face.
Yeah, it's not it's not the type of thing you want to see reading on your dashboard. With a few laps left and a podium on the cards. I think probably the pace on the softs will mean that he probably will be able to get Goat back. I think there's enough wars. Goat has a massive moment there. He's pushing hard on those mediums, so I think all Goat needs to do is just get back ahead of Sekas and kind of just park the bus a little.
Yeah, so we've got 2 exciting battles at the moment. Chris has got himself a 6/10 lead out the front from Adam with considerably better tyres, so he's looking like he's holding off here. But Adam closes up under brakes on every single corner and just reduces that gap. And of course Apex sitting in no man's land, 7 seconds in front of him, 4 seconds behind. Goat now has got himself a 2.6 second lead. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not quite sure where we sit, which battle, whether we sit with 4th and 5th or 1st or 2nd.
I think we have to look at 1st and 2nd, I think, by law of positions.
Yep, so we're staying with those guys. We've got just on 2.5 laps to go, and that gap has been consistent at about half a second to 7/10. So as they come into corners, Adam closes it up, and as they push out of the corner, Fixer Chris has a better exit. So neither driver giving here.
Yep, they're all with two and a little bit laps left. I think they are really going to be pushing to just get the most out of these tyres and just... It's all about winning the race, and I think, well, you say you can't win the race on lap 1, 2 or 3. You can most certainly win the race on lap 58, 59 and 60.
That's exactly right. Quick update back for 4th and 5th. Sekas has closed that down to 1.5 seconds now, so 1.4, 1.3. We'll keep an eye on that while we stay with the front leaders. Once again, as they go into the corner, Adam closes that gap up, and as they come out of it, Chris just opens it back up again. Well, nothing wrong with either one of their tyres. Chris now starting to flash on fuel, but I think he should be right to get through the next lap and 3/4. As we mentioned, the car's pretty good, so is Chris on fuel. I don't think fuel's going to be an issue for him. He's pushed it out now to 8/10. We'll see whether Adam can close it under this corner. Not enough. It seems like Adam's tyres are starting to impede his ability to stay on the back of Chris. Chris's tyres are not looking as bad, but yeah, it does look like he's starting to fall off ever so slightly, but it's enough to give Chris comfort that he doesn't have to push as hard as he was previously. Meanwhile, update 4th and 5th. It is now down to 0.6 with 1 lap. They're coming into the final lap. This is going to be exciting. Under a half a second now. This is going to be hard for Goat to hold off. What do you think is going to happen here, Corbin?
I think Sekas, especially with that penalty he got, I think he'll be even more incentivised as to just throw it up the inside. I think with 1 lap left, he doesn't really have a lot of tyres to play with, so he might need to make the move early and kind of just park it there. Both drivers, their tyres will be pretty sore, and Sekas looks like he's getting a good slipstream. Goat's forcing him to the outside. Or he does a little juke.
Well, what we might do, given the gap to 1st and 2nd has been pushed out to 1 second, we might stay with the battle for 4th and 5th for at least half a lap before we switch back to the leading group as they cross the line. So yes, he's got just coming now to under 4/10. Can Sekas put it together to find something, put a bit of pressure on Goat? The fuel tanks are both flashing. I think Goat's tyres a little bit worse than Sekas, and of course Sekas being on the soft, Goat being on the medium. And I don't know how you found them, Corbin, but I felt as though the mediums, as they started to get down to unwearable, still performed better than the softs did. So this will be interesting to see whether or not Goat can actually hold off Sekas, and Sekas is the one that...
Goat covers, Sekas looks to go on the outside, he's going to try and get a crisscross. Goat
We're going to
parks
jump back up
28
to the
bits.
top, fellas. We're on the last stretch, and
Yep.
Chris has got a 1 second lead.
As they come across the finish line, Chris once again has taken another race. Fantastic drive, Chris. Adam in second. Apex Humper now coming across in third, just about to cross the line. And Sekas has made a move on PLE Goat, who tries to come back at him at the final stage, going the outside. Won't be enough to do it, and Sekas finishes in fourth. PLE Goat in fifth. Kazadro's coming across the line now in sixth. Scooter 82 rounding the final corner before the straight, and will finish in seventh. 9 seconds back to Dale, who's now just coming onto the last set of corners before the front straight. Scooter just crosses the line now. We're on board with Dale as he's on the final straight, about to cross the finish line. Stefko back 12 seconds, has just made his way onto the final straight. And closely behind him we've got Captain Lowside, just under 2 seconds behind Stefko, but Stefko's about to cross now in 9th position. Well done, Stefko. Captain Lowside in 10th. And unfortunately, Tombo, who was looking good early and mid-race, has found himself in the final position in 11th. And that rounds out the field for the Enduro in Brazil at Interlagos. Congratulations, guys. That was a mammoth effort. An hour and a half. Takes a lot of concentration to do 60 laps.
Is this where we sort of tell Tombo that if he hadn't have done the flick spin to cross the line, he may have got ahead of Cap, because Cap carried a penalty across the line?
I don't
did he?
think it was quite enough.
Not
He
quite
only
enough.
dropped 2 seconds on that last lap, so I think he might not have made up the time
But
needed.
we'll tell him
but
that anyway. That's the
yeah,
fun
we'll
part.
wind him up a little bit.
Well, that was an exciting race. There was a conclusion towards the end. It wasn't just cars evenly spaced out, even though we had varied strategies there. We did have a bit of a battle for first and second and fourth and fifth. Congratulations to the top 5 guys who would have finished within 10 seconds of each other. So that was a fantastic effort, given the variable strategies that were carried out by the drivers. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on another stream. I'll quickly thank our sponsors, Jade Finance Australia, AMS Excavations, 180 Embroidery, Hybrid Ag and Permobil. Thank you very much for being in partnership with the League. Corbin, thank you once again for joining me in the comms box.
Yep.
Any final words?
Glad that's over with.
Definitely is. It's been a long night. Dodgy, thank you once again for bringing up the stream and the visuals. You do a great job there.
Oh, look, always a pleasure. And just a big shout out to Adam. It's been a while since we've seen him at the pointy end. It's good to see him back. It must be that Ferrari colours. They did well for him. And also, Fixer Chris, I was expecting him to romp that in. So these guys did a great job to keep it just a second win. So great job by all.
Very much so. Yes, 60 laps, an hour and a half is hard to keep your focus and concentration. Viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. Next week finds us back in the one-make Porsche GT3. We'll be at the Red Bull Ring. There'll be 3 rounds there, 6, 8 and 24 laps. We look forward to you joining us in next week's race at the Red Bull Ring. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend and we'll see you then.